Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Christina, and this is Life of Wine and Books. As the title of today's video implies, this is my April TBR. I have two stacks of books. I have one right here. These are the books that I definitely want to get through next month in April. I also have another stack of books and my Kindle next to you on the little table I have set up. Those are books that I would like to get to if I have the chance. And I really worked hard to pare down my TBR for the month of April, simply because my husband and I are going out of town for a week. We're going to New Orleans. And while I will bring a book, I've even selected which of these books here I will be bringing with me. And I'll be bringing my Kindle with me. So I'll load that up with books as well. I also understand that I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of reading done. Now, with that being said, let's start with this stack here. And these are all the books I definitely want to read in April. My first two books that I have here, these are the books that my husband so graciously picked for my TBR jar for April. I only have 22 prompts in my TBR jar, but I need to add 2 more to it. So that'll round it out to 24, which means I need to complete 2 a month in order to get to all of them. And instead of doing just very generic prompts, I put in my reading goals for the year. And 2 of my reading goals are to read T.J. Klune's backlist and Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlists. And that's what I have here. First, I have Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book follows a woman named Hannah. And it's kind of like a sliding doors scenario, if you've ever seen that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow, where she's at a bar and she meets up with an old flame, and her friend says, "Come on, let's go." And then she kind of runs, there's these 2 parallel universes, one where she stays and one where she goes. And you have these alternating chapters between the 2. I thought it sounded really interesting and really fun. And like I said, one of my goals this year is to read Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist. Luckily, I only have 3 books that I need to read off of her backlist, and this is one of them. Next, I have Wolf Song by T.J. Klune. I have not read this yet. My mother-in-law borrowed this book from me, and she read it and she enjoyed it. And all I really know is it's queer and has to do with werewolves. That's it. That's all I know. I'm not no megaverse person. I don't even know if a megaverse is the correct terminology to use in this sense. I am not a werewolf person. I'm a witchy person, but it's TJ Klune, and if there's one thing I love, it is TJ Klune's writing. So I am very excited to start this quartet. This does mean I am starting another series, which is something I'm trying not to do. I'm trying to make progress on all the series I'm reading through. I'll get to that in a little bit. However, my goal is to start and finish this entire series this year, so I'm not that worried about it. Plus, like I said, it is one of my goals for the year. Speaking of series, I have Well Traveled by Jen DeLuca. This is the 4th and final book in the Well Met Quartet. It's a series of books set in a small Maryland Renaissance festival. I live in Maryland. I love Ren Fair. Maryland's Ren Fair is actually one of the largest in the country. If you look at the list of like the top 10 largest Ren Fairs, I think it's somewhere within the top 5. It is a big deal. My husband and I go every year. This is the last book in this series. This is the book that I will be bringing with me to New Orleans because I just think it's very fun. It's very light, very easy to read, and I think it'll be perfect for a vacation where I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of reading. This book follows Lulu, who is Mitch's cousin. So Mitch has been a recurring character throughout the series, and he has his love story in book 3, which is called Well, oh my gosh, I don't remember. Well something. They're all well something. Let's look. I don't remember. Well met, well played, well matched. Well matched is Mitch's. It's a blue cover. So this follows Lulu, who is Mitch's cousin, and Dex. Dex is a singer in a band that comes to perform at the Willow, oh my God, Willow, why am I blanking on everything? At the Ren Fair. And Dex's cousin, oh my God, I'm blanking on everything. Dex's cousin is the male love interest in the second book, Well Played. So Dex is kind of like a playboy type of character. Lulu has never really been involved in the Ren Fair before. These are two characters that we haven't seen a lot of. So with Well Played and Well Matched, we literally just went through this. These were characters that you had seen in the previous books, but these are all new characters, which has me a little bit worried because I'm not as emotionally invested in them as the other three books. But nonetheless, I'm excited to read this book. I'm excited to finish this series. I think it's going to be the perfect book for me to bring on vacation. Now I have a lovely big stack, well, not really big stack of books, and that is the Giver Quartet. I love The Giver. This is one of my absolute favorite books in the entire history of books. I've read it so many times, and additionally, this is a signed copy. And this is not a printed signed copy. I dropped my copy of Sun. I physically saw this book get signed. I brought it to Lois Lowry, and she signed it herself. For those of you who don't know what The Giver is about, it is about Jonas, who lives in a utopian community where everything is perfect and everything is assigned to you. And when he turns 12, he is given the assignment. That is when children are given their assignments and they start their training for their adult job, which is assigned to them by the community. Jonas is given the job of receiver of memories. And this is a community where they don't remember the past. They don't remember what the world was like with us, with war and famine and starvation, but also freedom of expression and everything. And Jonas starts to get these memories from the previous receiver of memories, who goes by the name The Giver, now that he's giving these memories to Jonas. And Jonas starts to realize that not everything is as wonderful as it appears. The next book in this quartet is one that I've also read, but it was many, many years ago, and that is Gathering Blue. I remember very, very little of this. It is once again in the same universe as The Giver. In fact, Jonas and Gabe are mentioned briefly, very briefly in passing in Gathering Blue. And Gathering Blue follows a girl named Kira, who is orphaned. I believe that she has some sort of there's something wrong with her legs that makes it difficult for her to move and for her to walk. And she is summoned by judgment. I'm just going to read the back. She's summoned by judgment to the Council of Guardians, and she begins a fight for her life. She prepares to fight for her life. But the council, to her surprise, has plans for her. Blessed with an almost magical talent that keeps her alive, the young girl faces new responsibilities and a set of mysteries deep within the only world she has ever known. On her quest for truth, Kira discovers things that will change her life and world forever. I remember very little about this book. I remember the cover. It was like a small black book, like a mass market paperback size, with a blue girl dressed in blue on the cover. That's what I remember. I have not read this book in about 20 years, so I don't remember, but I definitely want to read it. It's fairly short too. It's only 230 some pages. And it's a middle grade book, so the print is quite large. I'm going to be doing a vlog where I think I read all of these, and my goal is to do that before we leave for New Orleans, which we leave on April 9th. And I think that I'm pretty sure I can read most of these in a day. The next book in the Giver Quartet is called Messenger, and this follows, I don't remember his name, Maddie. Maddie is a recurring character in Gathering Blue. He's friends with Kira, and this is his journey. And he carries messages through forest, whatever forest is. And he has the freedom. I think it's like something that separates all the communities within this world. And he has the ability to travel back and forth between all of these different communities. But sinister forces sweep into the village, and its borders are closed to the outside world. He has to find Kira before the borders are closed permanently. I don't know. I've never read this one. This one and the last one, I've seriously never read these books before. The other two I have read. The Giver, it is one of my favorites. I have no idea. Sorry, I paused for a moment. My husband came up and brought Willow with him. But the last book I have here is Sun. And this is one that people don't really know. Messenger and Son, people don't really know exist, but they do. I think, so this is it came out in October 2012, and I have an ARC. I have no idea. I was not sent this ARC. I was still in college when this came out. I think I got it, like they gave it to me at like a used bookstore or something, because they can't technically sell them. So that's kind of cool that I have this. I probably will at some point buy a finished copy, but it's very cool having the ARC of it. I do want special editions of this series as well, because it's absolutely one of my favorites. But this is Gabe's backstory, and I'm not going to get into more detail in case you haven't read The Giver, but it's kind of interesting that you have Gabe's backstory, and it deals with his mom and kind of that whole thing as well. So if you know, you know, and hopefully that is intriguing enough to you that you would pick up this one. This one I think I'm the most excited for. I think Gathering Blue, because I remember really liking it, and Sun are the ones I'm looking forward to reading the most. So this is kind of like a prequel happening, trying to think timeline wise, maybe a little bit of overlap with The Giver. There's probably a little bit of overlap with The Giver. I'm trying to think of the time frame of how long The Giver covers and ages and stuff, but this would be a prequel, but it is considered the last book in the quartet. And like I said, I am going to be vlogging my experiences reading all of these. Next, I have The Lost Adventures, which is an Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novel, and I started a vlog ages ago where I was reading these graphic novels, and I haven't finished it because then AwesomeCon happened, and then the Celebrate Women readathon happened, and then just like other vlogs kept getting in the way. And this is literally the last one I have, and it's a series of short stories in graphic novel form that are just sprinkled throughout, like little things. I think you have May and Zuko's first kiss are in here. Where did the last of the Airbenders hide? I'm just going to read what's on here. Where did the last of the Airbenders hide? When was Zuko and May's first kiss? Who would win in an earth bending showdown, Toph or King Boomy? And why did the Earth King decide to travel the world in disguise? So it's just like little vignettes of things that they probably wanted to include in the TV show, but just they couldn't make it work because of plot points. And so they put them into graphic novel form. And I'm very excited to read this and also to finish up that vlog, because I want that done. I want it edited. I want it scheduled, and I want you to be able to watch it. Was fully prepared to be like the last book I have that I definitely need to read, and I actually started saying that, and then I remembered book club exists. So one of the books I have for book club, I'm going to put right here because I have the audiobook, is Vanderbilt by Anderson Cooper. And it is about the wealthy Vanderbilt family. And I did not know this until someone suggested the book for book club, is that Anderson Cooper's mom is a Vanderbilt. So I think that's going to be really interesting. And he narrates the audiobook, so I got it on Audible read already. And that I will probably listen to on the plane going to and from New Orleans. My other book club has Late Bloomers by Deepa Veradarajan. I'm pretty sure I pronounced that correctly. I know absolutely nothing about this book, so let's find out together. Recently divorced after decades of a dutiful but unhappy marriage, Charisse and Lata Rahman find themselves setting off down new paths in their Texas town. Charisse is trying to navigate online dating on a website that caters to Indian Americans and is striking out at every turn, until he meets a mysterious, attractive younger woman who seems to be smitten with him. Lata is enjoying her newfound independence, but she's caught off guard when a professor at the college where she works starts to flirt with her. Meanwhile, Charisse and Lata's daughter Priya thinks that her father's online pursuits are distasteful, even as she embarks on a clandestine affair of her own. And their son, Nikesh, pretends at a seemingly perfect marriage with a law firm colleague and their young son, but hides the truth of what his relationship really entails. Over the course of 3 weeks, 1 August, the whole family will uncover one another's secrets, confront the limits of love and loyalty, and explore life's second chances. So it sounds just like a family thing. It sounds very literary, which is not my thing at all. But someone in book clubs already read this and really, really enjoyed it. So I'm intrigued now by it. And the cover is very spring-like anyway, so that's perfect as well. Now, this is legit the last book that I must read next month. and that is A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. This is the last book in the Ember and the Ashes quartet, so I really can't go into much except that it is dealing with the aftermath of the third book. I'm reading this for the Wyverns and Words book club run by Katie from Katie's Reading and Cass from Cassandra Lynn. They do this wonderful book club. It's free for everybody to join. They have a Discord, they have a YouTube, all of that good stuff. And this was a series that I was already trying to finish this year. This is also going to help me with my 52 books by BIPOC authors, which is pretty awesome. And so I'm killing multiple birds with one stone by reading this book. I liked the third book. I do think that it had a bit of a right book, wrong time sense for me, but I did enjoy it. So I'm glad to see how everything wraps up in this third and final book. Now, in terms of my Kindle, which is being a little bit slow, I have a Paperwhite and it's a few years old. I have stocked this full of books. I do have KU and I went to go cancel it and they're like, but wait, we'll give you like 2 months for free. And I was like, okay. And then I put on my calendar when I have to cancel it. So I have on here, I don't know what I'm going to get to because I am doing a 24 and 48 readathon this coming weekend. So that's going to be a little bit of as well. So these are some possibilities that I have on here. What do I have? I have The Hatmakers by Tamsin Merchant. It is a middle grade fantasy book about a girl in search of her father. Tamsin Merchant plays Catherine Howard in the TV show The Tudors, and she now has this fantasy trilogy that I've heard is really fun and really wholesome and just a good time. Gavin from Gavin Reads It All enjoyed it. He even got to interview her on YouTube, which I'm super jealous of because she's just, oh my God, she's amazing. And Catherine Howard's my favorite of the Henry VIII's wives, so a little biased on that one. I also have The Princess and the Fangirl, which is the second book in the Once Upon a Con trilogy by Ashley Poston, and this deals with Jess, and she swaps places with somebody else, very much a Prince and the Pauper type of thing, in that con nerd type of community. She's in a movie very similar to Star Trek. I also have A Little Princess and The Secret Garden by Frances Hodges Burnett. I put these on here on a whim. I really don't know if I'm going to read them. I really enjoyed reading both of them as a child, and so I was like, I'm going to put them on here. Those will probably be ones I'll read. Maybe I'll read one this week. It depends on how my reading schedule goes, but if not, I'll be reading them probably on vacation. So those are all the possibilities on my Kindle. I don't really know what I'm going to get to. And finally, I have 3 books here that are, if I get to them, great. If I don't get to them, that's fine too. And they are all, as I awkwardly hold them up, historical fiction. The first I have is Another Woman's Husband by Jill Paul. You'll recognize this as coming from my Celebrate Women Readathon TBR, and I did not get to it. It follows a woman in 1911 who is friends with Wallace Simpson, who eventually, she was a divorced American actress who fell in love with and married the King of England. He abdicated the throne and gave up the throne for Queen Elizabeth II's father so that he could go on and marry this actress it was a very controversial move, and they had a lot of really controversial political ideologies. And then you have another timeline happening in 1997 in Paris, France, following a woman who just got engaged that night to her fiance, obviously, and they're driving through Paris. It's late at night, and they drive through a tunnel, and there's a horrific car accident in front of them, and it is Princess Diana. And they get kind of wrapped up into that world as well, because that morning, or like right shortly there before, only hours before the accident, I had to double check, Princess Diana had actually visited the Parisian home of Wallace Simpson. Wallace, I think, had passed away at that point. I imagine, yeah, she had definitely passed away at that point. But it's kind of those two stories coming together. I'm intrigued by this because, like I said in my Celebrate Women Readathon vlog, I've never seen a novel about Princess Diana before, and that's what really drew me to this book more than anything else. I also have here Dragon Springs Road by Janie Chang. This I got signed last month came signed. I bought it signed at an author event for Janie Chang. It takes place in 1908. Xiaoling is 7 years old when she's abandoned at an estate in Shanghai. She is biracial, and it is dealing with that and being biracial in the early years of the Chinese Republic. But then I've also heard that it has a little bit of a fantasy element and everything as well, which has me intrigued. Plus, this cover is just stunning. The last book I have on my would like to get to it if I have the chance list is For Those Who Are Lost by Julia Bryan Thomas. And this is the island of Guernsey. There's that book, oh my God, the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Society or something like that. And this is set on the same island where the parents were very worried about their children. So similar to what happened with like the children in Narnia, they were sent away to the countryside to get away from any prospective bombings that would happen. Except in Narnia, they were sent away from London. And but this is Guernsey's like an independent island, so they were kind of sending them to England in general. And Ava and Joseph are parents that they put their 9-year-old son Henry and their 4-year-old daughter Catherine in the care of their son's teacher, who will escort them to mainland England. Just as the ferry is about to leave, though, the teacher's sister Lily appears, and the two trade places. Helen doesn't want to leave Guernsey, and Lily is desperate for a fresh start. So Lily is the one who is accompanying these children to England, and Lily is the one who lets Henry get on a train by himself, and she decides to take Catherine and just turn and walk the other direction. And this is then a long-lasting impact on everybody's lives. So it sounds like it focuses on World War II, but then like the aftermath of World War II, which I always think is interesting because it's something that's usually ignored. Like people are like, okay, cool, war's over, moving on with our lives. And that's definitely not what happened. So I think that that's going to be an interesting book to read. The print is pretty big and everything. So it says 1940, but I think, I'm just trying to look. I don't know, it says Henry. I don't really know when this is set. We'll figure it out together. I have no idea, but these, once again, are books that if I get to them, that's great, that's wonderful, but I do also recognize that I will be traveling for a week and won't be doing much reading while I'm gone. I will be loading up the Kindle. I'll be bringing one physical book, and then everything else will be loaded up onto my Kindle for me to read. I am a fool. I am a fool. I finished wrapping up my TBR video, and then I was like, I go to put the books back on the cart. I'm like, what's that book there? This is on my definitely want to read it in April list. So this is The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. I've heard really good things about it. I don't know. I'm a Disney adult. I'm a major Disney adult. I mean, my shirt. So I thought it would be fun to do a vlog where I read this book and like as a Disney adult and be like, do I like it? Do I not like it? If I like it, great. I'll pick up the rest of the series. If I don't, on to Pango it goes. But it's basically about Rowan, who is like the CEO or owner or something of like a company that's basically Disney. It's Disney. It's a Disney company. And then you have Zara, she submits a drunk proposal criticizing Dreamland's most expensive ride. And instead of being fired, she's like promoted or something. And then they end up falling in love. I don't know. The whole like drunk criticism and everything reminds me of Confessions of a Shopaholic. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. This book I'm very interested in reading and seeing if I like it. I've heard it's spicy, but not super, super spicy. And there's probably some people out there laughing hysterically. Watch this be like the most spiciest book I've ever read in my life. I'm not a big fan of spice, but I kind of skim. I'm like, and keep moving forward. I do think the cover is very interesting. It has like a castle and it has like some blueprint type design on it. And then you have like some blueprint type sketches on the back as well. So now I'm officially done. Editing Christina is going to have a total nightmare because then this is also mixed in. This clip is also mixed in with the vlog I am currently filming. So it's just going to be a mess. And editing Christina, have fun. So yeah, that is what I'm hoping to read in the month of April. I am very much a mood reader though, so we're going to have to see how that goes. If you saw a book on my TBR that you've read, comment down below and tell me what you thought of it, because I'm always curious to hear what people thought. And if you made it this far in the video, leave the dragon emoji, because this is the book that's sitting right here staring at me. So leave some sort of dragon or reptilian emoji down in the comments, and let me know also what you plan on reading next month, because I'm always looking for new books to add to my TBR. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!